Hola, welcome back. I believe this is Cerveza Boyz, maybe 15, something like that. I
Wow,
know,
that's
man. I know. It's fucking incredible. We still haven't watched the fight yet. We need to do that. We said we're going to do it and comment on it.
sure.
So I'm going to deviate away from the basic news of the week. And I was blitzed high last night, not on purpose, but accidentally. And I was thinking about MMA when I should have been doing other things. But I was thinking of like a champion, and then I think like people say, a true champ defends the belt. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true. Like if you think of, you know, Adesanya, who's the champ. Well, how many times has he defended the belt? 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, a couple times.
Compare
Yeah.
him to Bisping. Yeah, they're
Mhm.
champion of the same division, but they're nowhere in the same category
Yeah.
whatsoever. So, I mean, to me, I would have your champion, but like I would have like a TC, a true champ, is someone that defended the belt.
Mhm.
Like you were the champion and you stuck around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great distinction, because there's flukes,
Yeah.
there's freak occurrences. And I think that's a great way to distinguish between the flukes and the real deal.
Yeah, and I would classify Bisping as a fluke, and so I'm gonna hate on him a little bit here, but look, I like Mike. I think he's very likable. I'd love to drink and hang out with him.
Yeah.
Think he's
He's
good
got
for this.
that British grit
He's
sort of
cool.
thing.
He's fucking
Yeah.
funny. He's good for the sport. Um, Look, he got his title shot, and he landed a shot against a superior fighter. He won that fight, and I think at that point when Michael Bisping became champion, that was when I was his biggest fan. I was like, man, what a fucking story. Dude, you got one eye and now you're like, props to you. The way he handled himself as champion has, I lost, I wouldn't say all respect, but as a spider, most of the respect for him. His first fight, he gets to fight a guy named Dan Henderson, who was an all time great, but he was like 42 or 40. He was done. Like
Right.
he was ready to retire. He's not even in the top 10. They gift him this fight because Bisping lost to Henderson in the past. I watched that fight again a couple days ago. I'm convinced it was Henderson or a draw. Like Dean.
Really?
Like
Wow.
Bisping barely. And I don't even think he won that fight. So you got your freebie. This guy wasn't in the top 10. You got your freebie. And then GSP wants to come back and fight him.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to fight Yoel Romero. Bisping was supposed to fight Yoel. Like, can you imagine that? That would have been, it would have been a crucifixion. But I would have respected
He might have
Bisping.
lost his other eye.
But would you have respected? He went in there against a beast and fought him as champ. You got to respect someone that does that. He avoided that fight twice. I never heard him talk. He ducked Romero. And look, I get taking the GSP fight because you're going to make a ton of money. But GSP's at 170. He fought most of his career at 205. You have no business losing that fight. If you take that fight, you cannot lose. And he got his ass beat.
It's a shame too, because Yoel never got a chance because of all this.
That too. Yeah.
It's a good distinction. It's something that maybe it should be. I tell you what'll probably happen. You make it unofficial. You got the true champs and you got the champs, but everybody, they start like you get reporters to say it. So how do you feel about being a true champ?
Right. Well, a part of this GSP, I brought him up because this is linked in because these are my two least favorite fighters, GSP and Bisping, because they incorporated kind of these same traits. So GSP, I think, could be champ today. He was that great of an athlete, and he was just a freak martial artist early on. He had one inexcusable loss to a guy he never should have lost. They gifted him a title shot. He avenged that. But something happened to him. Before he lost that fight, look, watch GSP's fights. He's knocking people out on the feet. He's submitting them. Like he is finishing motherfuckers. After he lost that fight, he took everybody down. He took everybody down and he dominated them. But for 5 rounds, he would just beat them up from on top. And I was like, what is this? You're well-rounded. You can do everything. There was a fear in him to stand on the feet. But he dominates everyone.
Was it a fear or was it a caution?
What's the difference?
Well, fear comes from a place of like, oh, I could lose. Or does it come from a place of, I'm going to be so smart about this that I can't lose?
He would say the latter, but I would say the first. And he fought not to lose. That's how he fought from there on out.
He became a boring fighter.
He became a boring ass fighter. And then he retired after a split decision that he lost. Like he should have fought Hendricks again just to clear it up. He retires. Then you fucking come back when fucking Bisping's champ. You didn't do that with Anderson Silva. You didn't do it with Chris Weidman or Luke Rockhold because you would have got your ass beat. So
here's the question. Is he a true champ?
For 170, yes. To say, hey, he was the champ at 170 and 185. I'm like, he true. He came out and he beat the weakest 185er, and he was supposed to defend his belt, and then he ducked. He was supposed to fight Yoel, and then he was like, oh no, I'm retiring.
Oh, what a great fight that would have been.
Right?
Oh man.
So both of them. Look, I like Bisping the way he handled himself as a champ. Pathetic. Yeah. GSP coming back. I get it to be the 2-division champ, but no, man, you always fought not to lose. So I could care less for either one of those.
There should be yet another distinction. There should be so true champ means you've defended your belt, but there should be something even beyond. Like, what do you call somebody who they've demonstrated they're the greatest in the division ever?
Well, it's interesting because I forget this. There's when you fight dogs, like your dog can win a fight and it's like a mark for it. But if you win 3 fights, I forget it, you get like a title. But if your dog wins 5 fights, everybody wants to breed with that. Like, can we breed with your dog? It's like
he goes stud. He goes stud. Yeah.
So how many times would you have to defend your belt to be kind of iconic? I don't know. I think there should be maybe 3 times. There's a distinction of just
how many times. But see, here's the thing: how many times has Usman defended his belt?
More than 3.
I was about to say. Like he's done it many times, you know.
Well, Gilbert Burns, Masvidal twice,
Kobe
twice, 5 times. I think.
Yeah.
See what?
Bring out the women.
Well, look, he's approaching GOAT status, and he wins his next. If he beats Hamzat, he's the GOAT. Well, this is my question, because 170 Usman and GSP are. Look, man, GSP at 170, you couldn't beat him. Yeah. Usman right now he's in that talk, man. Who wins that fight? Because they're built real similar.
Are they? Really? I think Usman's built like a fucking little African god, man.
Well, I think maybe GSP's more agile, but yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. Usman's fucking technical.
I don't know. I might lean toward GSP. I don't know. That's such a tough one.
If GSP wants to be greatest of all time in 170, he comes back and fights Usman. He's too old now.
That was my issue. It's just like, you ruled 170, you retired. Now you see this guy dominating. Go back and beat him.
Hold on. Do you believe that we can say that about Khabib? Khabib being like greatest of all time in his division.
I think he left too early. You know,
it's a shame the Tony fight never happened. It really is.
It was a shame.
That was
But Khabib with his dad dying, it's just like, Khabib, you've got at minimum 2, maybe 3 to 5 years. Like, you had you could have been. He should be fighting Usman. That's what should be the fight right now. He would have defended his belt like 4 or 5 times, and he's going up to 1. He could have been iconic. It didn't seem to motivate him. You know, he's just a fucking. You know, he's from.
He's got weird Russian Muslim logic. You know, that don't compute properly. So I remember. Did you ever see GSP on Rogan?
He talked about aliens or something, didn't he?
He's a strange dude.
He's weird.
Like, he's got this is so typical, but French Canadians are fucking weird people, man. Yeah. They've always been like outsiders over here, you know, like they're in their own little world. And the fact is, I think that his brain does not work like most people, you know, like he must have a strange fighter IQ, a strange approach to these fights, and a strange approach to his legacies, you know. I think he's content to accept his legacy, and he will never come back. I also think he might be gay.
All right, so that's the thing with GSP. Is just he did everything he could to preserve his legacy. I'm gonna go take on the weakest champion in the division. I get it.
But that's not preserving your legacy at all. That's, if anything, it's tarnishing your legacy.
No, it's not. No, because everybody's like, oh, he was a 2-time champ. Like he was the champion. I'm like, man. Anyway, there was nothing manly about it. It was all like, oh,
preserving your legacy is preserving your legacy is coming out of retirement to beat the new champ.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Like, hey, Usman's gonna break my record. I'm gonna break him.
Yeah.
That would be fucking awesome.
Then there's no question. It's undisputed.
It's undisputed.
Undisputed, you know?
Wouldn't that be great? Some dominant, like let's say fucking Oliveira's just cleans house, and then all of a sudden Khabib's like, I'm coming back to show that I'm the fucking greatest. I'm gonna fucking crush this. Like, I'm watching. I'm watching. I'm watching. Yeah.
That would talk about pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Everybody would pay for that. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. They don't do it right. Anyway.
It is what it is, Chase.
That's all I got to bitch about, man.
I guess we'll wait till the next big fight.
Yeah. Good episode. We're gonna start watching fights together, man. We'll watch them and comment. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time, guys.
Ciao.